Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by. Okay,
Yeah.
gas that.
Yeah,
Take it.
take it at midfield.
Okay,
Just go
take
right
it.
now.
Okay,
Go to camera 3. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first. Okay.
Okay.
Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q. Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
And go for it, guys. Indeed, it is Friday night, September 20th. Happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. We are live Friday night again, as usual, coming here to celebrate everything fun with you guys. And Ricky, what's going on, man? Happy Friday to you, brother.
Hey, happy Friday, Willie. Again, I'm always grateful to be on with you. Thank you for the work you do to put this show on every Friday. Thank you, Willie. Well, everybody, once again, Willie and I, both born and raised in the Canal Zone. My dad being a Balboa High School 55 graduate. Willie, both members of the Panama Canal Society, card-carrying members, by the way. And both very grateful to bring you our weekly show, the Balboa Yacht Club Happy Hour.
Yep,
And for that, there's our card carrying. For that, we say salute.
Salute. Happy Friday, Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the zone. Happy Friday to you guys as well.
Out there in the Canal Zone and everybody watching us.
Yeah.
Every Friday, we bring you guys a little bit of our way of life. We bring you Zonian and Panama Canal related guests. We bring you the latest in the Zonian community, both in Panama and in the U.S. We're here to update you on reunion news, such as the one coming up in January in Panama and the one in July in Orlando. We bring you news on our latest picnics and the Panama Canal Society's meetings and updates and stuff like that. We bring you birthdays. We bring you the history of the canal. And we bring you a little bit of our U.S.-Panama relations. And one of the things we're really proud is that we bring you our way of life. And last but not least, Willie, our favorite part of this show is the comment section. It is such a big part of us. And you guys, thank you so much for always participating and being with us here every Friday. And to that, another toast, our second.
Yeah. Round 2. Right on. Absolutely. And Jim, glad your internet's working. Excellent. That's always important, obviously, when we're going to watch YouTube and whatnot. So glad that's working out. We have had some things going on with the chat. For what it's worth, we're going to be switching platforms in a couple of weeks. This one's paid through September, but then we're jumping to a different one. This one's proven to be a little bit glitchy on occasion here and there. But actually, most importantly, they doubled the rates. Literally a day after I signed up for September, they sent me a notification saying, hey, effective October 1st, our rates are now $90 a month. So I said, well, it's time to take a hike and look around elsewhere. And you know what? I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason. Turns out, as I started looking around, I found another platform that's very, very robust. It's got a lot of really cool features to make it even a little bit more interactive. So looking forward to switching there. Ricky and I are going to be going to school here the next couple of weeks to learn that one, because we had just finished learning this one and now we're going to jump to another one. But nonetheless, it's going to be good. And so glad that you guys the chats are working. Leaf was one of them that he messaged me last week after the show. He's like, what, am you silencing me or something? I was like, no, man, what happened? And turns out several people messaged me saying, hey, I threw comments out there. I didn't even see them or whatever. So, and we know you guys like to get recognized for them. And we certainly want to recognize you because, like Ricky said, without you guys, we don't have a show. So we definitely appreciate you guys joining us to watch and throw your comments either in YouTube or in Facebook. And then we definitely like to throw them on the screen and share with you guys. But we'll get that taken care of. And like I just showed you guys, the card is here. They have arrived. We're talking about the the gift card program, right? We're talking about not a gift card program. Let me rephrase that. The gift membership program, which is something that's near and dear to all of us here. You know, we're big proponents of the society. We know that the society really does wonderful things for all of us here, Zonians, and we want to make sure that we always, you know, keep the society front and center. You know, without the society, we don't have nearly what we have as far as the Canal Zone community goes. You know, certainly we talk about the reunion, and that's obviously a big deal, the Canal record, all those things. But, you know, even behind the scenes, they've got, you know, Dave Dahlstrom, for example, our historian, non-historian. He's also has a legislative position with the society. So he's involved in government affairs and almost like a liaison, you could say, to take care of us, because at the end of the day, a big proponent of our audience here is retired Zonians. And these guys are all retired federal government workers. And so there's a lot of federal governments out there. In fact, just the other day, there was an email that came out from the society advising that somebody's going to be coming on to explain some things about some benefits that may be going away, and that you want to maybe reach out to your congressman and get them to say, you know, vote yes or vote no. Unfortunately, I didn't really read it, but again, that's what the society does for us, right? They keep us informed, keep the Canal Zone going, but they also help us retirees, my dad and everybody else out there, to stay in the loop of what's going on and what things may impact you and may impact your retirement. So we definitely want to keep the society going. And as we know, the Canal Zone ended in 1979. So we know that our audience and the society's membership is inevitably going to dwindle at some point, right? Because there's no more new Zonians coming out. But that being said, as Bill McLaughlin explained when he was on a couple months ago and did that interview with us, if you look on the Facebook page for the society's Facebook page, they have about 6,000 members. And yet the membership in the Pan Canal Society itself is under 2,000. So we were bouncing around ideas of what do we do to get more membership going and get everybody involved and starting involved. And so one of the things we came up with was this gift membership program, right? When you think of a gift, you know, you can, you know, I know, for example, a lot of times now we get lazy and give out gift cards for birthdays and Christmas and whatnot. It's an easy stocking stuffer. And so to throw a $50 Visa gift card, an Amazon gift card, it's a no-brainer. So why not do the same, but throw in there a Panama Canal Society gift card or membership, right? $50, it covers you for the year. Get our membership up. So that's what we're doing here at Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. 100 memberships in 100 days, right? And we're almost exactly at 100 days right now. Actually, we got a little bit of an early start, but from September 1st through December 31st, call the society. Reach out to them, let them know that you want to update your membership or you want to renew your membership and that you want to take advantage of the Balboa Yacht Club program, especially if your membership has expired. If it's lapsed, that's another $10 processing fee. The society has agreed to waive that. So call them, just make sure that you let them know that it's from, you know, that you want to do it part of this Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club program so that, you know, we can help grow that membership. You get this really cool membership card, as you can see there, the front and the back. It has a lot of great sponsors on it, you know, and keep them happy. They're helping support us and support the show and, of course, support the society. Most of these guys are also sponsors of the society. But, you know, Kelly Fenton and her daughter, Rachel Fenton, they're very, very successful realtors in the West Central Florida area. But like Ricky mentioned last week, to clarify, if you're looking at getting property in Panama, if you're looking to do something down there, go through Kelly. She's got a lot of contacts down there that she can funnel you through to get the best opportunity possible to find some property down there or get involved there. Or again, if you want to come here to the great state of Florida, she's the person you want to call, or again, her daughter, Rachel. They're very, very successful. They know the market very well. They work with Mike Coffey, who's another Zodian for, you know, in the funding arena when it comes to home buying and stuff. So definitely a good team there. Of course, Cascadas Lodge, you know, Andrew Eftimitis, who's Captain Eftimitis, who's going to be joining us here. There was some technical issues earlier, but fingers crossed that we got it rectified. But he's joining us for the Pan Canal report. But he's also, of course, he has the Cascadas Lodge, which is a bed and breakfast in Balboa, right off of Empire Street, behind the police station in that area there, right? That's in the heart of the zone, in the heart of Balboa. Got a great location there, world-class cuisine. They've got a spa. They got a pool. If you're going for the Canal Zone reunion in January, they're walking distance from that hotel, so it's a very, very close location. And they also have their sister company, which is Sea Panama. They're spelled SEA Panama, and they basically do boat charters. Captain Neftimitis, obviously being a Canal pilot, they've got several boats. One holds up to 55 people, and down to the smallest one, you can get 7, 8, 9 people on it with you. So really, really good opportunity to get out there in the water. He was out there with Dave Dahlstrom and his group a couple of weeks ago when Andrew actually got married, and there was some really cool videos of them whale watching, which is something I don't even remember ever coming across or thinking about when I lived down in Panama, but apparently that's a thing, is to go whale watching. So great group there. Of course, howler monkey sauce. I call them monkey howler sauce. Howler monkey sauce. Fantastic sauce. I've talked about those guys before they were even sponsors. I'm a big fan of the hot sauce there. I'm a big hot sauce aficionado. I do like my hot sauce, and they actually have a flavorful hot sauce, right? They're not going for a world record, burn your mouth so you can't taste things for days. They give you a really flavorful hot sauce. Does have some good flavor to it. Does have some heat to it, but it's not firewater, okay? The amarillo is my favorite, but they have 4 different flavors. They have a verde, they have the original hot sauce, they have a red one now, and then of course the amarillo sauce. Give them a sample, guys. They're really good. They're all in Amazon as well as in Publix if you're in Florida in the Southeast. Jerry Curtis and Panama Motorcycle Adventures, great group there. We had those guys on in March. They're joining us in a couple of weeks again to talk about what they have going on there. But in essence, they have some really amazing motocross adventures. They don't have to be just motorcycles. They have 4-wheelers as well. You don't have to be expert level either. And like Ricky said, they also have, when they do these treks, which are Atlantic to Pacific, but not on the Transismian, right? You're going back roads. You're going out by El Valle, way out in that area, over the mountains, coming back down. And they do have access to a chartered helicopter in the event of some kind of an emergency. So they're really well set up. They've got a really good operation. There's different stops in different places to rest and eat and stay. They culminate with an awesome stay at an oceanfront bed and breakfast on the Pacific side. So really, really cool adventure. And he'll talk about that more when they come on here in a couple of weeks. But again, appreciate their sponsorship. Beacon Solar, that's Larry Cicero's outfit. And there's Larry on right now. Hey, Larry, good to see you, buddy. So Larry and his outfit, they're up in the Northeast. They're working their way down here, but they've got some really amazing solar programs, right? Both commercial and for private. They got he was telling me a little bit about it on up there in the Northeast, and I believe it's maybe Connecticut or Massachusetts, somewhere. They've actually set up with one of the condos there, and they're putting them on all their parking areas, which offers, charging options for anybody with the electric vehicles. But the condo stands to make a big chunk of money on it. So it looks like it's a really, really good opportunity. If and when they get down here to Florida, certainly get involved. I know my brother's had solar for many, many years. And I mean, there's months that he gets paid for electricity as opposed to having to pay out. So solar's a lot different than it was back in the day. When it first started, I think it was a money grab for a lot of people, but now it's actually established. It works. So excited to have those guys on. And again, much appreciated with the help here. Al Sprague, Panama Art. That's, these guys are just, they're an icon of the Canal Zone in Panama. I don't need to just say a lot more, but of course I always do. These guys are near and dear to my heart. Our first guest was Cassie Sprague. We had Al Sprague on here a couple months ago, which was an awesome interview. So we really love those guys, and we love that they've always supported our channel. So we're more than happy to have them on here as well. So reach out to them. It is the holiday season, guys. So, you want to, don't wait until November to start spending all your money. Start spending it now, right? Give these guys a call. Go onto the website. They offer, in addition to the beautiful paintings, they've got tumblers, they've got towels, bags, a lot of different things with that wonderful Al Sprague art. So definitely take care of them. And then last but not least, Zonian Life, right? That's Bruce Bateman's outfit. These guys have been supporting the zone for a long time. Return to favor. They're one of the OGs when it comes to the Canal Zone support and any kind of online support and whatnot. So reach out to them. There's some cool shirts there. It is football season. I've made some really good inroads this week with some Kiwanis folks. So we're gonna have some Kiwani Colts on. I've already got a group of Albrook Jets that are going to be joining us as well, working on the Clayton Cowboys. So if you're one of those folks that played on one of those teams, I know Johnny McGee's on here. He was a Albrook Jets guy from Los Rios. Go on to Zonian Life. They've got all the football shirts, not just the Rams. Of course, that's the team that everybody wanted to be on, but we have some other teams there. So grab some of those shirts as well, where support your team proudly. But these are our sponsors, and of course ourselves, Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club, proud to sponsor this. But think about it, guys. Buy yourself your own membership. Go ahead and update it here if you want, and use this service so you get that card. It's got an iconic picture on it, the CZ Forever carved on Sosa Hill there. Next year, we'll come out with a different one, a different iconic picture. Maybe these become a collector's item at some point. But definitely take advantage of the opportunity, especially if you haven't signed up originally or if you let your membership lapse. They charge an extra $10 processing fee. They've agreed to waive that for this. So mention it, get that taken care of. But for sure, guys, it is the holiday season. If you're going to give a fellow Zonian a gift, you're going to spend more than $50 anyway. Make it a membership to the Panama Canal Society. They do a lot for us. We love those reunions, so let's return the favor. But anyhow, that was a mouthful. Let's say hello to some of our guests here in the comments here, because
but important though, Willie, it's very important that you share that and let people know how to participate, because we got to keep this thing going. The only way you can keep it going is if we ourselves fund it.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, we do have a lot of people that have chimed in again. Glad to have everybody on here. Leaf Weapon, good to see you on as well. Mr. Posada, good to see you from Canal Zone PTY. I got some cool stuff I've seen online there.
We spoke of him last week. Right on, Mr. Posada.
Yeah,
he really loved he's the man that fell in love with our Canal Zone architecture. And he has been, photographing it and talking about it. And he contributes to the Canal Zone Museum in Casco Viejo.
Yes, so, indeed.
Mr. Posada, thanks for coming on. Real appreciate your work, sir.
For sure. Yeah, thanks. And definitely check him out, guys, when you get a chance. And yeah, Leaf does have, Leaf was one of the ones when we started originally talking about this. He kind of reinforced the idea by telling us that his dad buys him and his brother every year for Christmas. He renews their membership. I think that's a really cool thing to do. Even especially for your kids that aren't really Zonians, but hopefully they can, as they get older, they'll appreciate that heritage that we grew up with that impacted them. Yeah. But
we've got some folks that told us that we grew up with that. Their kids are watching the show just to get just to find out what their dads and moms were about.
Right, so exactly. That's really cool
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a great feeling to hear that for sure. Chris Jeffries, thank you. I know where you're at. Every so often, Chris chimes in. He's a pilot, so God only knows where he's at. But I always enjoy having him on. And yeah, Jim, great point here. Okay, Governor's Club membership, 5 years, then you don't have to worry about it, man. You do it now. It's 2025 all the way through 2029. You're covered. But definitely take care of it. The Governor's Club gets you a nice little pin and a couple other things as well. So
yeah, maybe we can come up with like a gold card, Willie, for the 5-year memberships.
Oh, that's an idea. That's a good idea.
Gold always goes good with him. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Always good to have you on.
Yeah, Johnny has become quite the avid hiker. If we decide to do a hiking segment, he may be the one to do it because he travels around a lot. Him and Steve Malia were out west last week, and some really, really cool places. So awesome to see that stuff. Larry, awesome again to have you on. Larry's our Balboa Rams guy. Him and I got together to do that Rams reunion at the reunion itself, which was a lot of fun. Him and Ray.
You know what? We need Larry for when we bring the Kiwanis on, because we're bringing the 72 Kiwani guys.
Yeah, there's some of the originals there for sure.
Well, it'd be good to have Larry and Maston on when the Kiwani guys come on, the OG Kiwani guys.
Yeah, for sure. And Jason's not here to watch our show. He's actually looking for somebody else. So if anybody sees Dodd, let Jason know or let us know, and we'll go ahead and pass the word on to Jason. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
And we have a segment coming up with Jason and Jack Whitlock for you guys. We're working on that. Yes.
Yeah, we got something fun there. You guys like the food, and a lot of people travel to Panama, especially now with this Canal Zone reunion that's going on. A lot more revisiting Panama, but it's changed a lot. I mean, heck, even since I've been there, it's changed a lot. So if you want to know some of the places where you can eat and get some good munchies that are maybe even off the beaten path a little bit, that's what these guys are going to help us out.
These guys are all about like an Anthony Bourdain, kind of show, from our holes in the walls in Panama. We're looking forward to that, Jason. We really are. Thank you
Absolutely.
too, man, for your hard work,
Yep.
Johnny. Right
And
on,
like I
Jet.
said, Jets. Absolutely. These guys, the Albrook Jets were the first team to beat a Balboa Rams team.
Yeah.
Okay, not Cristobal, not Kiwanis. It was the Albrook Jets. So there's a
Albrook
history
Jets.
there, and,
Yeah.
and some good players. I mean, McGee and I played on Bulldogs. Quite the ball player. Unfortunately, Little League he had to play for Albrook, but
They
you
were
know
good.
what?
They were good.
Not everybody
man.
not everybody wins the Canal Zone football.
They were
lottery,
good. They were good. But
they were good.
also-
I'm just saying.
But Willie, we
you
should
know?
also mention that the show is no longer going to be Balboa Ram. It's going to be Canal Zone Little League football show.
Correct. I spoke to a folks during the planning for the Rams reunion. I was talking to a group of Albrook Jets fans, players, and I just chatted with them again about a week ago. Let them know, hey, football season's here, so be on the lookout because we're gonna get started again with some football shows. But yes, to your point, we want to make this inclusive of all the Canal Zone, not just celebrate the greatest team there, the Rams. That's I get it, but there are other teams. So, but hey, listen, I'm a loyal Ram. What can I say, right?
I know.
But and then check this out. Laura Cossack is from Alabama. She's already there. Thank you, Laura. Glad to see you on. And John Hewsome is on his way to Alabama.
We love
So they're
John.
gonna go
We
there.
love all the Hewsomes. We love when they come
Yeah.
on.
For sure, and they're all going to be in Alabama. That's a big deal, which Ricky's going to talk about here on the
We'll talk about a
Bochinche.
little bit about that, yeah, in my segment.
And Ricky actually went ahead and wrote down the name, so he don't want to miss any names or anything on there. But yeah, that's good
I want to apologize, but I'll apologize later. Yeah, I had a brain freeze. That normally doesn't happen. I've been able to handle this, but truly, guys, when you're in front of the camera and there's a lot of your friends out there, you could freeze up, and it happened to me last week. Sorry.
It did. It happened to him, and I was very cynical about it because I saw where he was struggling, and I just sat there and watched and laughed. That's all I could do. Afterwards, we had a good laugh.
Her name wouldn't come to me, and I'm just going.
I know. I mean, I threw the first part out. I was like, it's Linares, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then I was like waiting for the first part, and then he just when he figured out, okay, you know what, I'm not remembering. Just move along, and off we went with the conversation. It was hilarious. It's one of those, it's almost like an inside joke Ricky and I have because he knows that I'm really bad with names. So it was fun to see it. The shoe on the other foot this time. So, but yes, Myra, he's definitely going to remember your name this time for sure. So,
I wrote it down this time.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so there you go, guys. Canal Zone PTY. Check them out. They're on Instagram. A lot of really cool stories on there. I believe they're on Facebook also, but check them out because there's a lot of great history on there as well. Looking forward to reading that then. I'm in sales, and thanks for this show. It inspired to talk about the zone to customers, and there you go, right on. That's what I'm talking about, Rich. I'm in sales too, Rich. That's awesome. We'll have to chat one day. I'm a sales trainer, but yeah, listen, I tell all the new hires that come in, one of the first things I tell them is be worldly. Okay. There's a show on I think it's Discovery Channel. It's an older show now, but it's called Aerial America, right? And they basically have it's all it is a helicopter that flies over a certain area, a region, a town, a city, or whatever. And the whole time somebody's narrating something about that town, about that city. And to me, it's just fascinating. It's that silly trivia stuff, but Rich, in sales, that's golden, man, because you start talking to somebody in Wichita and you bring up something about Wichita. They're like, oh, man, I didn't know you knew that. And it's always a great way to engage people. So, but anyway, we digress. This is not a sales training seminar here. This is Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. So Johnny McGee's trying to build up those Albrook Jets. I get it, dude. Listen, brother, we'll stick to Bulldogs. That's where we all had success. But you guys did have talent. Yeah, you, Jack, Tommy Sullivan, Stevie Dodd, right? Good old Stevie Dodd. Yeah, for sure, man. So, and there's Dodd. So see, Jason, that's all you do. When you're looking for a zoning, what do? You
come to the Balboa Yacht Club. Yeah,
go to the Balboa Yacht Club. You're going to find someone. There you
love
go.
it, Willie. I love it.
Glad we could connect them. Yeah,
this is what we're all about, man. Community, building community, which is something our documentary producer labeled.
Yes. Thane Wheeler. He's on to a big push on that. And by the way, thank you, Thane, for the poster with my history on it. It was kind of funny, in a way that somebody chimed in. They're like, "Oh no, I thought it was an obituary." I was like, "Whoa, not yet, man." So
building community. That's what we're all about, guys.
Well, Jim, hopefully, I think you're up again now because you did message us, but it'll be up and down. And Joni, hey, Joni, glad to have you on. Yes, Joni had forgotten that we were on. We were chatting earlier today about some other stuff, and so I reminded her. Yes, so, yeah, glad to see you on. Awesome.
She's our reporter.
She's out in your neck of the woods. Yes.
Is she a reporter? I think so. Right on, Joni. Thanks for coming on. We have a lot to talk about, Miss Joni.
Yeah, I always say that Joni has the most wonderful smile. If you ever see her pictures on Facebook and stuff, got a great smile. I always point that at her and Bliss. I've always said have the most amazing smiles out there. For everything, they just light up a room when they smile. So glad to have you guys on here.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Yep. What requirements to become a society member? I can't tell you off the top of my head. You would think I would know that as much as I promote them. I'll find out for you. We'll also
sent you. You're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, you tell them that you know Ricky and Willie, and you're good anyway.
You watch our show, boom, Zonian.
Listen, they'll let anybody in, but you can always email to office@pancanalsociety.org. They can answer all your questions, as well as pancanalsociety.org, the website. You can go there and visit it. They have the membership information there as well. So definitely check them out there. Let's see here. John Houston, what do we got? John just went by. Nice. I've yet to go by one of those. I keep hearing about them, so I got to figure out what the whole thing is about Bucky. So we'll figure it out next week. If you don't mind, John, if you can give us a full report, we would really appreciate it.
Or have him come on, little spot section.
Well, he's going to, because John is actually working on another, we've always got, what do they call it? Irons in the fire. Is that the term? Always looking for another idea, another show segment. And one that Ricky and I have bounced around for a little bit. And I finally decided to take the plunge and start putting some feelers out, is for surfing, right? The Zone was a surfing mecca, and there's some surfing OGs that are actually surfing OGs, not just of the Zone. I mean, they are recognized as OG surfers in the general global surfing community, and Ricky knows more about that. Yes. So, but John had mentioned that he's friends with several of them. Kiki O'Brien is the name that if anybody was into surfing, in my age group, that was somebody you're like, oh wow, this guy's this is a surfer here. I mean, it was a name of names there. Yeah,
Duncan Bellinger, who lives out here, and we're trying to get him on. Yeah, those guys are the ones, like I said, they found Catalina and all that out there.
Yes,
all those
different
surf beaches. But the funny thing though, Willie, when I talked to Duncan about that, I really thought that the Zonians were the first ones surfing, and it's not true. The Panamanians from those areas were already surfing on wooden boards.
Wow.
Like the Hawaiians. So, it has been a little bit, we like to take the reign saying that we brought that, but
we like to take everything
corrected and said, no, they're already surfing. What the Canal Zone brought through Kiki O'Brien were the fiberglass surfboards. That's what the Zonians brought in. Yeah, Kiki was a legend. Yeah, we grew up idolizing him. He was our idol.
He was. I have no idea who the guy is, but I heard all the time. That was the name.
We just go sit there and watch him. Whatever he would do, we just watch him.
Right.
He was that kind of.
Look what Joni's mentioned. Kenny Myers still surfing. That's awesome. So hopefully Kenny Myers will join us as well, because I think that would be a really, really fun show to talk about surfing, where it all started.
Is that Paul Myers' brother?
That I couldn't tell you honestly, but we're certainly going to find out, because that's a cool story. I went on to there's a Zonian surfing group on Facebook, and I went on there and I started pulling. I in all honesty, my surfing career was about an inch long. Okay. I tried a few times. It didn't work out for me too much. And, that was kind of the end of it. But I can say that I surfed. I did stand up one time. I do remember one of the first times I surfed, I was with Victor Payne, and he was showing me how, and I finally stood up and kept going. And I forgot this part that he told me. He goes, once you start getting near the shore, just go ahead and jump off, because you don't know how to get off a wave and all that. Well, hell, forget that shit. I just stood and I rode that thing all the way up onto the sand. We turned it over. All three of his skegs were broken. They had all broken off. He's like, dude, I told you to jump off. I was like, bro, I stood up on the board. I wasn't getting off for nothing, man. But
I didn't surf. I was a victim of the movie Jaws, man. No way was I going to be out there with my legs dangling. Forget about it, man.
Now, in Palmar, I was boogie boarding one time, and that if you remember Palmar, there was, when you got to the houses, when you came out of that path or where you drove up there and you walk out on the beach, if you went to the left there about 100 yards or so, then the houses started right there. And that one house had the really big wall, the big stone wall.
That's
on
my cousin, Karen Martino's house. I think she recently sold it, though. But that's her house.
So I'm boogie
Wait,
boarding.
Willie Rogers used to have that first.
I believe
The
so.
Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I was
yeah,
there,
yeah.
I think it was the Rogers house.
Yeah, it
But
was
I
the
remember
Rogers
going there and it was high tide, or the tide was coming up, which means that it was breaking right near that. And I caught a big wave on the boogie board. And next thing you know, I'm flying to that wall, hauling ass, man. Fortunately, I was
that
able
was
to
the
pull up the
spot.
board in front of me, and that was my padding to hit the wall. Because yeah, that was a trip. But
That was
and
a good
nonetheless,
spot.
I think it would be a lot of fun to do a surfing show. There we go, Rob Roy. Joni, I'm going to be picking your brain because you're going to be our consultant here for our surfing show. Then it looks like between you and John, might be able to put together a cool segment there, and maybe a water skiing segment. Hey, listen, we want to do stuff that was stuff we did in the zone.
Water skiing was huge, Willie, at Gatu Lake.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And we got
absolutely.
so much, guys. We have content for years. So everybody out there, don't worry. We're not running out of any stories anytime soon.
Yeah, Carl, are you part of the Facebook group, the surfing group? If not, join. I'm on.
Yeah,
So
little kids, little kids beach. Yeah, for sure, Carl. Hey, Carl, we're gonna do a show on my dad. So I did promise you I would tell you about how the Royals got to Balboa. So stay tuned, Carl.
There you go. And who was it? It was just a moment ago. Donna was asking requirements, and of course, Laura's on the ball here. Be associated with the canal, Pan Canal, and the military, or be related to a family member that is associated. So, if one of those things works for you, we'll reach out to them. But again, go on pancanalsociety.org, go on their website, give them a call, and yeah, absolutely. And if you are eligible, by all means, make sure you mention the Balboa Yacht Club opportunities to get your membership through that, so you can get that really cool collector's card there. So very, very cool stuff there on that surfing end of things. So stay tuned. Sheila, glad to have you on. Sheila's been posting a lot of Canal Zone police stuff recently. Her dad was a Canal Zone police officer, and she's been posting some really, really awesome pictures. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's a nice little segue to something I'm really excited about for tomorrow, which is not on the show tomorrow, of course, but I have a meeting tomorrow with my dad, of course, Canal Zone police officer, with Pablo Prieto, George Cotton, Ed Dolan, and Kenny Gall. So we got a nice little collection of former Canal Zone police officers and penitentiary officers, and we're going to start that Balboa Canal Zone series and start talking about what it was like to be one of the men in blue, and someone that we look up to. I certainly do, of course, because your dad was a police officer, and the Canal Zone police was really highly regarded. I mean, they were involved in a lot of things with the youth. You can certainly say that crime was not a problem in the zone, right? I mean, other than us stealing empty bottles from people's houses to go to get our free beer, go to the beach, right? But
that was Coach Cotton. Coach Cotton, the detective, that was his job, to go bust high school kids at the Causeway.
Well, and then of course his other job was during football season was make sure that we were out past curfew on Friday night.
At the Owl Show.
The Owl Show, yeah, so, but no, absolutely. The Canal Zone police was an absolute fantastic outfit, very professional outfit. It was one of the ones, it was probably one of the more painful, for me, certainly on a personal level, but one of the more painful images of the ending of the Canal Zone was the Canal Zone police, because that really signified, hey, you're out and a new authority's coming in, and it was tough, but
and that ending was appropriate on the steps of the administration building.
100%.
I was there.
Yeah. My dad was involved in the policeman's ball. Him and Bobby Winford put that together. They created that really iconic picture with the old Model T car and the new police car. And Bobby Winford had that old police officer uniform on, and then the new one. So really, really cool stuff. These guys were the bomb, the Canal Zone police. And yeah, stealing. That was. I can't wait till December to talk about that, because I think we got to build that one up. I know, for example, in fact, Yvonne, who just chimed in here, Yvonne's house with Bobby and Daryl, that was a collecting point. Remember, some people's backyards was where we kept the Christmas trees. And that was, let me tell you, man, that was some fun times as a kid. innocent, mischievous fun was sneaking out at night and trying to go steal Christmas trees from me. What a blast that was. It was all in good fun. It was, I mean, we protected them, right? We had people sitting up guard, you'd go to school the next day all tired. Wow, I was watching trees last night, but what a blast, man.
Yeah, Willie, the tradition continues. In Cardenas, they have the tree burn. I'm not sure that the kids are stealing them the way we did and hoarding them the way we did, but they're definitely having the tree burn like we did in Cardenas every year.
Yes. And then, of course, we have one here in Florida on the East Coast, on the Space Coast out there. They always have a big tree burn as well.
So, of course, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so
they're the traditional family of the zone.
Yeah, for sure. Behind our house in the jungle. Yeah, for sure. Listen, it was awesome, man. That whole Christmas tree thing was what a blast. That was so part of that Zonian culture to do that, and to run around and doing all that stuff. What a great time that was. So now, this show is always about fun and reminiscing and memories, but I do want to touch on something. We're going to go on to a little serious note here. I don't want to be a downer here, but this is something that hit me close to home recently. Been a rough week for myself and a lot of people. We've lost a lot of close people, Roberto Fabriga and whatnot. And that's something that, Ricky and I have talked about on this show. Do we want to, bring those up? And the truth is we don't want to do it. And it's not out of a lack of respect for anybody, but, a lot of our audience is getting on in years, and we don't want to turn this into something that every week we talk about losing someone else. And so that's not the intent here, but, we lost a classmate of mine, class of '86. I'm not even going to mention his name, just again out of privacy and whatnot. But he took his life, and it really broke my heart.
Yeah,
it
hits hard, Willie. Well, listen, guys, we support the National Suicide Prevention. We just want to tell you guys, if you do have something happening, and we've all gone through it, because I myself have gone through it recently. So what I'm trying to get to is that we all go through this. If you feel something, reach out to the suicide prevention. And if you don't want to, reach out to Willie and I. We'll chit chat with you. But
you're not alone.
Give it one more last shot, guys.
So, but anyhow, I don't want to, bring the show down, especially we're having a lot of fun with the show, but it is something that's important. That one hit hard. It's a friend of mine, and this is somebody that always had a smile. He had a heart of gold. And so it's, say a prayer for him and
a cheers to him, man.
Cheers. Salute to you up there, brother.
He'll get it right up there in heaven.
Anyway, all right. So let's lighten things up a little bit.
Unless you watch Beetlejuice, then he's gonna be working for a long time.
yeah, right. So Sheila, that was Bobby Winford. Yes. Him and my dad were very, very close friends. And they did a lot of that together. And so I would imagine my dad was probably involved in your dad's retirement party. I'll ask him tomorrow about that for sure. But let's see here. What else we got? Leaf. That was my dad's 23. Really? That's awesome, Leaf. That's awesome. Well, tell him thank you, because that became a really iconic picture. I really appreciate seeing that on there. I often wonder where that came from, but that was really cool.
Leaf had all the cool boys, man. From Leafy to his brother to his dad. They always had the coolest freaking things, man.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, thank God, John.
They used to drive from Panama to Minnesota. I remember that. And they would bring back all the
one
stickers and put it on their vans or their cars.
In 1978, we had a 40 Econoline van, and we pulled a camper all the way through Central America. We were going to go into Texas and then head west, go up the West Coast, and then come across to New York. But we got to New Mexico. We went to Carlsbad Caverns, which was amazing. But it was like 123 degrees. It was a really bad heat wave that year. And my dad's like, forget this noise. We're not going through the desert. Let's turn this thing back around, man. So up we went through Oklahoma and Missouri and all that, and straight to New York. But so we did that drive as well. And you know what? For a 10-year-old, holy shit, what a boring drive that was. I bet I'd probably enjoy it more now as an adult. But as a kid, I was like, wow, this is lame, man. There's really nothing here. I would much rather have jumped on Pan Am and and flying up and do our charter flights. Remember the charter flights?
Yes, absolutely.
Those were awesome. You guys remember the charter flights getting up at what 4 or 5 in the morning, and where would we meet? You guys remember where we had to meet to go catch the flights? Well, we didn't meet in Tucumán for charter flights. Remember, they have about an 8-second delay, so we'll see if these guys who can throw something there real quick. Where did we meet for the charter flights? It was awesome. It was dark out there.
I've
You
lost
don't?
track.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Somebody throw it in the chat there. The bus place. Yes, the motor pool. When you were getting to the Panama train station, you went past the library. You went past the traffic light where you made the left to go to Corundu, and right past it at the motor yard there, the motor pool division, whatever the hell you called it. And Melinda, that's still clapping. Yeah, we put some of these up there. But yes, it was the bus place, the motor pool place. MTD, that's right. There's a picture on it. In fact, during our intro, when you see that countdown, one of them is a picture of MTD. And we would all hang out there, and then we'd all get on the plane and jump on and everything. That was really, really cool. So Belinda, I still, yeah, that is funny. I think that's a Panama thing.
No. Puerto Ricans do it too. The Puerto Ricans do it too.
Okay, so it's a Hispanic thing, maybe.
It's
because I tell you,
thing.
man, everybody claps, and it's like if you were scared to death, man. You know, Panama, the Copa pilots were awesome, man. Those guys were good.
No, I think it's more like, welcoming back, because how we get so emotional when we come home and we see those lights, all the city lights. Yeah. I think it is a Latin thing.
It must be, but everybody gets all excited about it and stuff.
What's
so
up,
we would show up there though, and just hang out, and then we jump on the buses, the big charter buses, and take out off to Tucumán, to the old Tucumán airport, right when you still had to walk out to the plane. Yeah,
God, Julie, I'm looking at the comments. We got over 100 comments already, right? I know,
right?
Right on, everybody, man. You guys do make this show awesome, man. With our
all right, Ricky, quiz. Who's this again? You remember who this is in the chat?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Toot Gibbs. Of course, I know my man.
Oh, this one here? No, this is
that's Toot Gibbs. He's the cousin of Carlton Morris.
Oh, is that okay? Oh, that's what it is. And okay, because I thought it was Carlton himself when he threw that out.
No, that's his cousin, first cousin.
Cousin, okay, got you. And Lewis, Willie, Ricky, you two sound like those who rode their bikes behind the bus. Everybody says that, but I never did that.
I didn't either. My sister was like, "What are you, a retard? Get over here!"
Yeah.
My sister never let me go out there and right behind that. She thought that was like the dumbest thing anybody. I don't. Thank you, Lourdes. You probably saved my life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, seriously. Everybody talks about that. I'm like, no, heck no. You want to run? No. Like I want to grab a can of Raid and go and breathe.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
So I never quite understood how that
works. The Royals run into that. All right.
That's the old airport there, Chris. That's right. It is the old Tucumán airport. When I worked at Copa, I would grab the company car every so often just to go drive around, kill time or whatever, and drive from the new terminal. And we had the gates all the way at the far end. The Copa had them there, and drive all the way through those planes and taxiways to drive out to the old airport, because that's where our cargo was and our maintenance. And I remember one time there was a plane taking off on the old runway, and I was on a taxiway, so I started hauling ass trying to race it. And of course, after about 10 seconds, the plane's gone and I'm way behind. And next thing you know, I pull back into the new terminal, go back to the office there, and one of the police officers comes up to me. And he takes my badge, and he's like, he goes and takes it to my boss, of course. And my boss, he got mad or whatever. But I'm thinking, holy shit, even on the damn roads out here, I get pulled over by these guys. And I'm on a taxiway at an airport, and the guy's pulling me over. So nonetheless, that's you reminded me of that, Chris, when you mentioned that piece there. Always rode behind no, of course not. Please, I'm not gonna do that shit. What do I want to breathe poison for, man? I'm sure the Army was already giving us a lot of poison anyway, right? So, oh, well, sad to hear. Rest in peace, CJ. Near or recent.
Valerie Kruger. Right on, Valerie. Vamos.
Anyway, so let's move along, guys. We talked about our gift membership program. We kind of just segued into a few things, which is a typical Zonian way of having a conversation and digressing. And so
I do have a tight agenda, but we never follow it, man.
We don't. Thank God that we're not on network TV, man, because our 8 o'clock show would come on about 9:45 and after we get done. So, but nonetheless, we are going to try and get back on track, because, there is that one segment that somebody here in the studio, it happens to be his favorite segment. So, we got to hear about that here. So nonetheless, it is time to go over what, Ricky, what do we call this again?
We call this the Grand Bochinche segment.
Well, let's go then.
El bochinche,
Always dancing going on. With
Right
that.
on. I love that song, Willie, man. I do appreciate that. Well, guys, today we're gonna start with a correct name that I wasn't able to get: Myra and David Seitz. Today, I'm just gonna let you guys know they have a big picnic tomorrow at their house. Second annual big party there in southern Alabama, and we already have several comments that a few people are on their way there.
Yeah.
So have you guys in that area, hook them up, call the sites. Their email, if you want to email it, is canalzonesites@gmail.com. Quite easy. Canalzonesites@gmail.com. And get out there because there's going to be a big ping ding for the Canal Zone reunion in southern Alabama.
Yeah, and make sure you get a group together and record yourselves saying something like "Hello to Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club," something like that. Give a shout out.
Yeah,
to
that'll
the
be
show
cool, man. That'll be cool.
See how many people we can get on there doing that.
Yeah. Also, from our reporters in Alabama, Myra and David Seitz, I got a little good story, and I like it, Willie, because it really, really represents the Zonian spirit. And it comes from Sid Rakes Bradshaw, a third-generation Zonian. And her story is, her grandparents came to the Canal Zone and during the ditch digging phase. So these are the early guys, the early pioneers that had nothing, and they still came, right? When at that time, more people were leaving than coming. Well, her grandparents, Len and Ruth Scranton, were there during that period, and I guess from 40 years living there, and being somebody that worked on it, they all received a commemorative coin from the first crossing of the Panama Canal. Wow. So she had the original one that she had, her grandparents had, and she inherited from her grandparents. Well, what she did was she donated that to the Panama Canal Society to to make sure that our history continues, that our story continues. And Sid, thank you so much for representing us like that, donating such an important piece, and so we really thank you for that. And it shows your spirit, and that's what the people ask us: what is a Zonian? That is what a Zonian is. That kind of spirit to love the tradition, love the history, love everything about the Canal Zone. So you guys, we're going to do a little toast for that, to the Rakes for their great contribution and
Salute.
Donation to the Canal Zone Society. Salute to you guys.
Yes,
And her second generation, her parents also have a total Zonian background as well. Her dad, Rick Rakes, was a military guy stationed in Panama, who, of course, met one of the most beautiful Zonian girls there at the time, Mary Lou Scranton.
Okay.
So we all know that a lot of our Zonian girls married military guys. So that was her parents, and then she's third generation, and just recently went through the Panama Canal. So by the way,
and real quick, sorry to interrupt you, but Jim just posted on there that that reunion that the sites are putting on is that area is called L.A. Lower Alabama. It's referred to as L.A. So,
got it. I was calling it Southern Alabama. All right, Lower Alabama.
There you go.
Yeah. So thank you again. She represents the Canal Zone spirit of keeping the Canal Zone alive for generations. To know that to know how much we contributed to mankind and to our host country, our beloved Panama. So right on, Sid. Thank you for that, man. And I'm glad that I was able to read that on our Canal record. Our next topic, we're going to bring in our one of my favorites, Ralphie Furlong, and we're going to be talking about the fourth bridge over our Panama Canal.
Well, Ralphie, welcome to the show then, buddy.
Right on, Ralphie. Thanks for joining us. Ralphie, you guys, Ralphie is a safety engineer. He provides all kinds of construction safety services, and he did that in Panama for many years. So he really knows, all the big mega projects, which is what they were involved. Ralphie was involved with building the second canal, as well as involved with the mine project. So these are two mega projects that Ralphie was involved in. So we thank Ralphie for coming on and talking to us about the fourth bridge over our canal. Welcome, welcome, Ralphie.
Real quick,
welcome, guys. How you doing?
Yep.
Cheers.
What's up,
Cheers
Ralph?
to you, Ralphie, man.
Cheers to you, and we'll do that here in just a second. But Jim's talking about a Pacific Northwest Zonians Christmas luncheon, Kelso Elks at 11 a.m. If you don't mind posting the date on there, Jim, and we'll definitely share that, and we'll keep promoting it. And also, if you want, send me your contact info. We'll put it up on here as well. So thanks for sharing that, Jim. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Jim,
All right, Ralph. Salute, brother.
Yeah, salute. So before we get started, just to give you guys a little bit of context, our president Molino in Panama just inaugurated the new tunnel excavation. So it's actually two projects, okay? It's a tunnel for the subway and then the bridge for the roads. Now, the design of the bridge was originally done by an American engineering company called T.Y. Lin. And then they designed it where the trains were going to go on the bridge. But apparently, I think it was too expensive, so they redesigned it and brought in a consortium of companies, Chinese, American, Spanish, and I believe German as well. So a Spanish firm has redesigned the bridge and has done a phenomenal job. So we're going to start talking about the excavation project that we started in Panama. And Ralphie's here to talk to us about this. Now, sorry, this is probably going to cover you, Ralphie, but you tell us about this big machine that we're seeing here.
Well, we got the machine in Panama a few, I would say about 15 months ago, and they started assembling it, and they brought it from Germany. And I'm going to give you guys some numbers here and some information. The tunnel boring machine, it's called Panama. So as soon as they got to Panama, they didn't. Before, when we did the metro for the first 7 kilometers underground, the first line of the metro, we ended up having 2 excavators there from Germany, and one was called Marta for Martinelli's wife, and then the other one was, I think, his daughter's name. So there was 2 different tunnel boring machines in Panama at the time for the line 1. This one is going to be the line 3, and it's a key tool to carry out this mega job to improve transport system in Panama. This excavator, the components are manufactured in Germany and has a diameter all the way around, as you can see there with a flag, of 13.5 meters or 44.29 feet. So that whole circle you see there with the flag is 44 feet wide all the way around.
Wow.
And the length of it, if you can see right there, is 93 meters in Panama. As we say it, 305 feet. So wow. As you can see, the
monster
whole machine right here intact. Basically, it's gonna excavate a total of 4.5 kilometers, or as we say.
Did we lose Ralphie?
Yeah, it looks like he fell off. There he is. He's jumping back.
Yeah. Well, if you guys can see in this picture, Ralph, you back in?
Yes. Yeah. So Panama is, as I'm saying, Panama, meaning the excavator, the tunnel boring machine, is expected to have a performance of 200 linear meters or 656 feet per month digging. The tunnel boring machine will excavate for 22 months at 65 meters at the depth of the 213 feet below the seabed of the Panama Canal. That the construction of the Line 3 is in charge of a Korean consortium. They're called HPH Joint Venture. They are Hyundai Engineering Construction, POSCO Engineering Construction, and Hyundai Engineering Company Ltd. That's the HPH on the joint venture.
Yeah, incredible, man. Incredible project.
This whole job is going to place 5,000 workers through 54 months of construction is estimated, the rough time period. And once it's completed, the time frame from starting from Albrook to the city of Future, which is
Howard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we lost him. So, guys, you'll be boarding the train at the Albrook Mall,
or
as you can see
there, Futuro, which is the city of Future in Chorrera, vice versa, coming back. So, with 45 minutes continuously, it's basically going to be the distance of about 24.5 kilometers total, which is 15.2 miles, and that's going to complete the third line segment. we anticipate, or the line 3 anticipates that they're going to have around 160,000 passengers mobilizing per day. And then for the during the rush hour peak time, they're going to be averaging about 25,000 people during rush peak times in the morning and in the afternoon. So this whole line and third line will affect 500,000 residents in the province of Chorrera and the West. And basically, it's going to be, like I said, a total of 24 kilometers or 15.2 miles. Incredible.
So Ralph, when this is completed, then you can get from Chorrera all the way to Tocumen Airport. You might have to change trains, but you can get all the way to Tocumen Airport via rail, correct?
That is correct. This is the third line.
Awesome.
So you will be able to get up from the line 3 to the line 1 and head to all the way to Tocumen. And there's an interchange when you get to San Miguelito to go out towards the west to Los Andes on the line 2. And also the line 2 carries you out towards Chepo area. In that area, yes.
That's amazing.
All the expats are going to love that because all they got to do is drive to Chorrera, sorry, everybody, Chorrera. And park there. You'll be able to get all the way to Tocumen. I know, man. I'm taking a beating, man. I'm going to really correct that. I'm getting beat up.
Well, Ricky, I reckon this subway here is going to be
all right,
good.
Chorrero.
We're going to get that subway. You go from Chorrera all the way to Tocumen.
Right. Yeah. So, Ralphie, around how long they say it was going to take to do that tunnel?
5 years.
Yeah, the tunnel itself, the whole job in itself is going to take about 54 months. It's a rough estimate. What's going to be the key factor is when we get under the Panama Canal seaboard and start going on that 20-degree incline all the way to 90-degree underneath it directly at 65 meters. That's going to be where we're going to, the force, if they can continue digging, like I said, about, 656 linear meters per month. Once you get below the seaboard, it's going to go a little slower. The soil is going to be a little bit harder, probably, or softer. So that's going to be the challenge once they get to that section, to how the velocity of the digging will go. But nevertheless, as I said, the excavator in itself, basically, when I'm talking about when it does the boring, and then it's also a tool that pours. The machine, once it starts boring, they have these really cool instruments on the sides of it where as it's boring, it's pouring. So it's really cool. So you're basically boring the hole, and at the same time, we have conveyor belts pulling out the dirt, and
you're removing debris and you're adding.
Of the boring machine, there's a concrete machine boring the whole thing, pouring the concrete. So it's really, really cool.
Absolutely amazing.
Incredible system, innovative, and it's been around. The Germans have had, these boring systems for a bunch of different projects around the world. And then luckily enough, we're able to get another machine that is going to do this great job.
And that thing's the length of a football field, just about. That's a pretty good size machine if you think about it.
It's far, you're thinking 305 feet. It's far.
And that's a football field.
Yeah, all the
that's 100 yards
that go into it. And it's basically when we look at this machine, we're thinking, these guys are going to work 8 hours. There is no 8 hours. It's 24 hours a day.
24 hours nonstop.
So it's going to go. The machine works a period of about 22 hours, 2 hours for maintenance, but generally it's supposed to be operating quickly. As you can see, the front of that machine, how those teeth are, those cleats right there, basically when they do the maintenance on them, it's a tough thing to get to the front of the machine since there is dirt. What they do is they back the machine up an approximate of almost only like 5 to 10 feet so the guys can get in there and add new teeth. So those are really, really key components. And also the shoring part of it. It basically, when you're digging and you go backwards in these type of machines like they did for the line 1, you got to be really careful when you crawl through those little circles that you see in the front. There's like 6 or 7 circles in the front of the actual drill, the boring front.
I'm sure they sent Ralphie in there first to find out how to make it safe. Poor Ralphie.
That's where the guys go out and they replace and do the maintenance for those
teeth
inside the concrete.
Yeah,
So,
and Ralphie's job is to make sure they do that safely.
Safety is imperative. It's number one for this type of work. I remember when I was doing a little bit of consulting for the first line, and I got in there with the guys and watched this whole operation, which was amazing. And all we could think of is safety first. From the time you walk down to the machine, going through the machine to the front cabin to the computer system, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. And it looks deep enough like it won't affect the canal in any way, shape, or form. You know, it looks like it's pretty deep. Right on, Ralphie. Appreciate that. Ralphie, why don't we go move on now and talk about like where you get on the bridge? You know,
real quick, Ricky. If you don't mind, let me share the screen real quick. I want to show you guys something that I just saw to kind of give you a perspective of this machine here. Here's one of them in action and what it's actually doing here. Check this out. There it is. Okay. So as you can see, it's turning, and Ralph was talking about sealing it off. You see those pieces moving there? Those are actually the wall panels for the tunnel wall that they're putting in, and they're sliding all those in place, and they position them as they move. So, you know, it really is. It's not just digging and then pull the whole thing out and then now start, you know, building your wall. It's doing it all at the same time. But that's
all. It's a one-shot dig, bore, and precast all the way around. So those are precasted concrete. Very, very strong platforms to be installing, and these things they're actually been made already for this project way ahead of time, so we can keep bringing it in and producing it in. It's an all-day operation.
That is really, really impressive. That's so cool. Look at that thing, and there it is. You can see that band right there. That's a whole wall section, and it's moving forward past the next one.
Correct.
Yeah. And the president mentioned that after they're done with this tunnel, they're going to use it for the train that's going out to Chiriquí.
Yeah, might as well for sure. So anyway, sorry.
Hey, I got it right. How come when I get it right, I don't hear? Ricky, good job.
Wow. Hey guys, everybody in the crowd there, please give Ricky some credit here. Some.
Did he say Chiriquí or did he say Chiriquí?
Hey guys, so here. Sorry to block you guys again, but the connection to me is important that we talk about it because it has a bummer effect to our Canal Zone community. Well, this map here, guys, as Rafi will explain, it kind of starts at the mall and it comes alongside Sosa Hill and what's that, Roosevelt Avenue, Willie?
Correct.
Roosevelt Avenue, right next to Balboa High School, the La Boca Road on the side of Sosa Hill, and then onto the bridge. Here, I got a good picture of that, guys. And it's kind of massive. Look at that.
Yeah.
It basically hugs the same road that used to go around the outside of the Sosa Hill.
Yeah, La Boca Road.
By the dry dock.
Yes. And it'll be going right through the old electrical building in front of the Balboa High School, all elevated columns, and that's your approach for the bridge. And on the other side and going into Panama Pacifico area, that's going to have a separate approach there, going over the old bridge and going into Panama Pacifico entrance and back into down to the interchange in Loma Cova. So there is two different approaches, and they're all going to be elevated. And they're eventually meet all the way down.
Look at how high that is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the good old Bridge of the Americas is going to. At some point, they'll have to tear that thing down.
No, they're actually repairing it. They're not because it's so iconic to Panama.
Good. I hope so because that is so emblematic of Panama.
Yeah. They're not getting rid of it.
Good.
Hey, what are the details I want to bring out? Okay, so we got the connection, guys. You know it's going to be going through Balboa on these ginormous piers, guys. We're going to be losing the Balboa train station. That's going to be gone. Yeah. We're going to also be losing that electric building on the corner of Balboa Avenue and La Boca Road. We're also losing that. Yeah, and of course the shoe store and the Gap, all gone, guys.
All gone. That's right.
Well, yeah, progress. It is what it is.
Times change.
But, here's one cool aspect of that I like they're going to put into it. There's going to be a restaurant on one of the pillars and a lookout tower. That is going to be really, really cool.
That is a cool way to watch ships.
Now, Ralphie, on the design part, what are they saying about the timeline? Because I have a feeling that they're going to build the bridge before the tunnel is done.
Well,
Or is it the other way around? The
yeah.
tunnel be done first, and then the bridge.
To do them at the same time. 54 months anticipated for the tunnel, and 58 months for the bridge, depending on how the approaches get completed. Once they do that, they really can't affect maritime, industry, because on the Pacific side, it's very, very heavy with the ships. And Andrew will tell you when he gets on. But the key components are going to be erecting the bridge, just like they did on the Atlantic side, with the super technology they got, the new machines that they go from the street out and bring in those big giant cables that you see there on that new phase bridge. So all that is going to be in play. They're going to have the LED lights. They're going to have all sorts of bells on there, like you said, that restaurant at the very end by the peninsula. All those are going to be pretty much entail before they actually put the center parts of the bridge. So those things right there are key components. Those are going to take a while. I anticipate it, that 54-month period for the tunnel machine, as well as the bridge, is almost coinciding together. The bridge that we put in the cut, that bridge, the Germans installed that bridge, the Centenario, in approximately 28 months.
Wow.
So with that said, they did the bridge part, and Panama did the approaches on the Corredor Norte, and they did the roads leading to there. This is a little bit different than that. Why it's taking so long is due to all the columns and elevations that they're putting on.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be just what's gonna take a little bit longer.
Right on.
It'll be
That's
nice
impressive.
to have a Canal Zone reunion event in that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That would be
Look at
awesome,
you.
guys.
Look at you with the forward thinking there.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ralphie, man, thank you so much for coming on and informing us of this beautiful bridge. I mean, I'm a little disappointed about what we're losing on the Canal Zone side, but I understand that it's for the people of Airhan, Arraihan, and
That's
Chorrera, and from Capira, and Bacamonte. What other Spanish word can I say? San Carlos, Coronado.
Yeah, you got to realize something. In Chorrera, Arraihan, and the west area, there used to be 100,000 people living there. Now there's 500,000.
No, 1 million. We did this show a couple of weeks ago. I looked it up. There's 1 million people now in that area.
The west side.
Yeah, on the west side. Not just 1 million.
Basically, that's an effect that this is a must that needs to be done. Right now, they just finished doing the little section that they have by Loma Cova, which is a little relief that goes into Panama Pacifico. A lot of people are saying it's really great until they get to the Bridge of Americas. Then it starts again with the Tranque.
Got it.
But other than that, pretty soon when this gets done, hopefully, and like that, when I was in Panama in 2014 is when they started talking about this bridge and did the surveys. 2015 they started talking about Loma Cova. So it's been 9 years in the making to get just the interchange on the west side of what they've done so far, and it's going to take approximately another 6 years to get to where we're going to be translucent, traffic fluid, and hopefully the people don't get too upset. But I know in the next 4 years that population is going to grow. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ralphie, stick with us for the next segment, because I wanted you to participate on this. But listen, Ralphie, thank you for coming on and talking to us and our audience.
Very nice. Look
Yeah,
at
right
you.
on, Ralphie. Thank you so much. But
Right on.
Willie, I've been doing you put me to do a lot of research, so of course I do that. And one of the things, Willie, that I keep seeing over and over and over is golf tournaments. All these Zonians are having these golf tournaments all over the place. So what I thought, now that I got you two's attention, because if I had told you earlier, Willie, you probably say, no, it's going to take too much time. So, but with all these golf tournaments, for example, you guys in Tampa have Saddlebrook Resort coming up, Kelly Morris is a big part of that. Carl Orvis won it last year, our president, and Kelly, his special assistant. They're big. They take a lot. So that's one Zonian tournament. There's a
director
big
at
one,
large, by the way.
Yeah, and there's a big one in Texas every year. In Coronado, Panama, there's a big Canal Zone tournament, Super Bowl week, which is hosted by David Bishop and John Cronin.
Yes.
Jim Duffus, who's on tonight with us, he has a big tournament in the West Coast, as well as the Canal Zone reunion in Orlando and the Canal Zone reunion in Panama. Both have tournaments, so that right there equals about 7 tournaments a year. We should consider having like a Zonian PGA tour where
ZGA.
The CGA, right? Where we inform
the
everybody
Zonian Golf Association,
right? Well, it's just like the reunion. We'll let you guys know when the next big tournament it is.
Well, there's one right there. Jim just posted them right there. The Balboa Invitational is in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
right. Right
so
around
I'm
the corner.
sure that we can pull this together, right, guys?
Yeah, right.
And have our own little PGA, and
golf was a big deal in the zone. I mean, everybody golfed in there,
yes,
so there's a huge following. You definitely could do something with that. And Jim, make sure you send us some pictures of that event. We'd love to post it on here and promote the next ones, and hopefully we'll be able to
the Texas one. I want to get more info on them because I know that's a big one and a good one that they do. Canal Zone.
That's right. There
We're
you
having
go.
a little
The
one
CGA.
in Jacksonville.
Yeah, we'll compete with those guys for sure. Well, anyway, guys, that's my segment. Oh wait, no, we got to do our Panama Canal Zone relations, which is extremely important to me, as you guys all know. I'm a big fanatic of our two nations coming together after all these years that we haven't really been getting along. And in my opinion, it's the freaking Chinese that were a big part of trying to erase the Canal Zone experience, the American experience in Panama. So one of my jobs is to make sure that we stop that somehow. Whether I've got to go wring my uncle's neck or something, I will.
You're trying. I know. A for effort, though, brother.
Yeah, but we're not. We're definitely pro-U.S. here, and this is a pro-U.S. show. And guys, some of the things that have been happening that I want to inform before we move on is, the U.S. has been landing F-18s in Panama. There's this new. They stopped immigration in Darien, right? You guys already know that. There's like an obvious cooperation. Now, what are two things that have happened recently I want to bring up before we move on and not get too political is, A, if you were born in the Canal Zone or in Panama and you're a U.S. citizen.
Ricky's got that audio thing going on again. Your audio. Whoa. You gotta reboot or something, Ricky. Remember that hissing we had before? No, yeah, you gotta quit unmuting yourself. You got a really bad connection there.
It's a brand new mic.
Well, but I think there's something in between the chair and the mic.
There you go. It's green now.
Of course, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, Chris. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Aristides. He's stepping in. Shoot this guy down. Yep, you're still bad, brother. It's got a bad connection. It's got that really bad hissing sound that we had a couple of weeks ago. Remember when you and I were doing something off the air? But yeah, if you want to reboot, Ricky, try and see if that'll work. In the meantime, we'll continue with this. Yeah, no. So listen, Ralph, that's impressive stuff about that whole tunnel and bridge and everything. That's really cool. It really is a big job. Absolutely. It's let's see what he's got.
I hope it's better. Is it better?
Yeah, much better. There you go. There you go.
Goodness. I know you always blame me, but it's this streaming thing that we're on. Well, guys, the bottom line is the U.S. government and the Panamanian government are working together so that Panamanians and Americans don't need visas to get into each other's countries.
Nice.
So
that's always been a funny one for I grew up in the travel industry, right? My mom was with Pan Am for many years and then Copa for many, many years. My first job out of high school was working at Tocumen for Copa for a couple of years. So, like a lot of Zonians that had dual citizenship, I always travel with both passports, and certainly in the 80s, there was always the terrorism and the hijackings and everything. And unfortunately out in the Middle East, Americans didn't fare too well. So I always had to remember which passport was which in which pocket, so when they walk around that plane and said, "Hey, I want your Americans," I'm like, "Soy panameño, man." Make sure I had the right one. But interestingly enough, in some countries, it was easier to enter with a Panamanian passport or an American passport and vice versa. So there was several times when I would fly back into Panama or go into the U.S. and they're like, "When did you leave Venezuela?" Or "When did you leave this place?" Because I arrived with a Panamanian passport and I would leave with the American passport or vice versa. So they're seeing a stamp to go in, but they didn't see an exit stamp. And they're like, "What the hell's going on here?" It was just more convenient to fly in with one versus the other one. So that is a big deal what you're talking about, that visa, because that really is a visa. If you go back in history, the visas were originally set up as a way to allow someone in your country that wasn't fully vetted, that wasn't considered a full 100% friend of your country. And you required visas and stuff. I remember at Tocumen, we had a list, because of course you're back in the 80s, there wasn't, all the computer screens and stuff, but we had printed out lists. And when everybody would check in, you'd look at their passport and you go down the list. And, obviously Switzerland is one that comes to mind, but Finland was another one. And there was another country that you pretty much could get into any country in the world with one of those passports. There was zero restrictions. And then of course, Vietnam, North Korea, Iraq, those, holy shit, you couldn't get into hardly any country with those, man. So that's a big deal, that visa thing. A lot of people don't realize what that really means to the relationship between the two countries.
Yeah. I mean, they're not there yet, but they're working on it.
Yeah, no, it's good though. It's a reconciliation.
Yeah, he's committed to the relationship. He's committed to the business relation and and all of us traveling back and forth. So guys, cheers. Fucking awesome news. And that will be it for our segment.
Pero espérate, how can you say cheers and not lift your drink?
Here it is.
It's happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club when we say
Balboa
cheers.
Yacht Club. Thank you, Ralphie, for joining us.
All right.
And there's Kelly saying hello. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Good to see you. For sure.
Thanks to Ruth MacArthur for my
yes.
Me too. I got a Ruthie here too. Ruthie.
Yeah, I had a fun conversation with Ruthie the other day. She's going to help us out with some prizes that we're working on for this gift membership program. Right, we're going to put together a really big prize package. So for people that get involved and help get that membership going. So definitely follow up on that. But right on.
Birthday tags.
Yeah, let's celebrate what we always like to do here.
Celebrate our everybody's birthday that are celebrating this week. Let me get my notes right. Here we go. So, are we going to just start right off, Willie?
I
got to start. I always start with the 81s, but
of
tonight,
course you do.
Not tonight. Tonight, I got a special lady to say happy birthday to.
Oh,
even though her birthday was a couple days ago, and that is my mother on the 17th, and as well as my dad's mother, my grandmother. They just both happened to be born on the same day.
Right on.
So happy birthday to both of you, and moving right along. Happy birthday to John Catanzaro. Happy birthday to John Catanzaro, one of my brothers, all-time brothers. And he's not a canal pilot, but he is a shipping engineer.
Correct.
And yeah, John's also in the Navy, and he provides port security. So John is a big guy in our community. Nice. He's kind of more of the James Bond than he is the port guy. So that's one of our guys. Happy birthday, John. Jeff Engelhardt. Excellent racquetball player. You guys remember? Well, maybe you two don't because you're so young, but when the racquetball courts in Balboa were first built, where I was like in 10th grade, and Jeff Engelhardt came from California already knowing how to play racquetball. None of us did. Mr. Reyes was the only one that knew how to play racquetball in the Canal Zone.
Nice.
He taught us all. And Jeff Engelhardt came in and taught the whole zone how to play racquetball. And we've got.
Was he from the Navy? Was he in Amador?
Yeah. He's a Navy. Yeah.
Well, his dad was Jim Engelhardt.
Yeah.
He was a commander. Yeah, he ended up becoming Mark Rosenberg's stepdad, Mark and Naomi Rosenberg. Remember Naomi
right on.
Rosenberg?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Their mom, Estrella, ended up marrying Jim Englehart. Great
that's
guy.
why they all
Really
live in
nice.
San Diego.
Yes,
Got it,
correct.
got it,
Well, he
got it,
lived
got
up on that hill in Amador. Remember we talked
Yes.
about going through the gate,
Yes.
those quarters up there. He lived up there because when Mark started living part-time there, I'd go and hang out there with him and stuff. Yeah, Jim was a great guy. Really, really nice
Great guy, good
wonderful
guy, excellent racquetball player. Angelito Hodge, Kim Matson from Gamboa, happy birthday. Tina Sanchez, one of the Howard. You know, us Balboa guys always dated the Howard girls, right? Tina Sanchez was one of those hot Howard girls that we all dated, and that's why those Eagles hated us so much. And one special, it seems like every week I have these special heavenly birthday celebration. This one is to a close friend, Eddie Toastin. His birthday's coming up, but happy birthday to you up there, Eddie, man. We miss you. We love you.
Yes.
And thank you for taking care of us. And one of our defensive ends on my Bulldog team, Levi Wallace, he was like the Nick Bosa of our time. You know, he would just come in for third downs to rush because he was an animal.
Special.
To rush the quarterback. Yeah. Okay, guys. Moving on from the Canal Zone Police, David Marks. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Nice.
My neighbor and close friend, Tony Gripple. Your guy's close friend as well as mine, Jeff Morgan.
Yeah.
My little brother, Ralphie's my little brother. This is my little brother. And that's Rick Rivera. Happy birthday to Rick. I love that kid. Claudia Iglesias, happy birthday. Lynn Hawkins, Dave Jennings, an old Balboa Ram football player.
Yeah.
Lily Oyer, who's a daughter of a Canal Zone Police.
Daughter of Melvin Oyer. And she was also Mrs. Delaware.
Look
Yes,
at
she was.
you.
Yes.
Really knows all the misses. What did your mom had to do with something like that? You've mentioned it before in the
my mom went when in 1986 when the Miss Universe pageant was in Panama. My mom was selected as a chaperone. She was a chaperone for Miss Turks and Caicos and Miss Guam, I believe. So she spent a month at the Marriott there. So I hung out there.
Wonder you know all the misses. Before we had one like Las Tablas, and then of course there's my little sister, Amy Smith. Happy birthday to you, Melissa Harvey, class of '82, great girl. Ingrid Diaz, and last but not least, guys, Martin Tremblay. Oh, he's all these French people in the zone.
Yes,
Really hilarious.
Tremblay, yes. Well, actually, there's one. There's one more, and you know, I mentioned this earlier in the week when I celebrated her birthday on Facebook. You know, we all have a lot of friends. As Zonians, we're a big, close-knit community, and on Facebook, we friend with everybody. You know, in the Zonian world, a friend is you know, acquaintances, people you know. We're all fellow Zonians, and then you have friends, people that you hung out with, you grew up with, whatever, and then you have your best friends, right?
Your inner circle.
For sure. You know, Ricky, certainly you are one. Ralphie's absolutely one of my absolute best friends. Ralphie and I do a lot of it. We golf together all the time. We always do a lot of things together. And on Monday, another one of my absolute best friends, someone that I've traveled the world with, someone that I'm very, very fond of, and that's Mitchie Hearn. Happy birthday to you, Mitchie. Love you, and hope you're watching this. If not, I'll grab a snippet of it and send it to you. But happy birthday to everybody here. Thank you, Ricky. This is always a cool thing. It's
our best part too, man. Happy birthday to everybody. All you Zonians.
If we missed you, not on purpose, but happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Right on. So happy birthday. Look at this guy off the camera. He runs off. Look at
We're
him.
not doing those clubs anymore, and I run out of beer.
That is
Lee
hilarious.
Morton, right on, Lee. Hey, Lee, listen, Lee, I'm working on those drawings. I promise you. I know that from the reunion. I told you I'd be working on your drawings. Lee has a property in Texas that asked me to do a little design work for him, which I'm behind. But Lee, I'm there. I'm gonna catch up. I promise. Dodd Dupree, Mitchie is awesome. Happy birthday. Right on, Dodd. Tell your sister we said hello from the Balboa Yacht Club.
Yeah, it was good seeing Jill on last week for sure.
Our beloved Jill,
and
yes.
was on as well. It was always good to see him.
Canal Zone Princess.
Oh, awesome. Oh, John's watching. Very cool. Yes. And I always use our Zonian name. So no disrespect meant there. It's Mitchie Overstreet. That's her husband, John. But you know, if I say Mitchie Overstreet, first of all, because the Overstreet is an Atlantic side name.
Atlantic side name, big name.
which is not kind of cool because John and Mitchie have been married a long time, and John goes to the reunions now. John is like a Zonian now. John will walk around and hang out with people and talk to people, and they're like, "Hey, John, how you doing?" Never from the zone, right? But he's been there for so long. He's got the lingo down and everything. So, and it's cool because he puts his name tag on, John Overseas, and they're like, "Oh, I'm from the Atlantic side." He's like, "Yeah, Atlantic side, whatever." So,
Right on, John.
but yeah, no, nonetheless, it is Mitchie Overstreet. But again, I always go with everybody's Zonian names. So either way, the birthday sentiments are genuine for sure. So let's see. What is Lee here? No hurry, my brother, of course. Yeah, but don't say that, Lee, because you know how Zonians are. You say no hurry, and then it's like, oh, dude, I'm giving you a 4-year extension.
I broke it down. It's coming. It's coming. A little on the modern side. So, you know, if you want something more Texas, we can make it look more Texas. But I'm going modern, concrete, little wood, a lot of glass. That's where we're going with.
There you go. Look at Ralphie. Ralphie keeps popping. It's like Ralphie owes somebody money here, man. He keeps popping in and out, man. So,
yeah, we love having Ralphie on.
Yeah, no, Ralphie's good people, man. Ralphie is he really is up here in Tampa. I can honestly say that Ralphie is my best friend. This is the zoning that I've spent the most time with is Ralphie. Mitchie, of course, like I said, we do spend a lot of time, and we've traveled the world. We've cruised several times. We've gone to Europe several times, and she's good friends with my wife. In fact, her and my wife worked together at one point when we were all working at American Express, which is where I met my wife. Mitchie, and of course we all, you know, it's all everything's good here, but Mitchie's like, ooh, don't mess with him. Stay away from him. He's trouble. And thank God she didn't listen, you know, because here 25, 26 years later, we're happily married. And Mitchie and I laugh about it all the time, but it was like, oh, thank God you didn't listen to her because, but nonetheless, it's, yeah, it's the cool thing about the Zonians is the friendships. The friendships are so much more special, right? Friendships are genuine here. You know, I mean, you guys are both my brothers in every way, shape, or form, and that's what the Zonian community is all about.
And I appreciate that. But you know, Willie, I you know, I'm on social media, not all the time, but enough. And I always see this question: how many of you have had a friend more than 7 years? I'm thinking, what? More than 7 years? I got 100.
It's like, hold my drink. Years. Yeah, it's nothing but, right? For us, the question is, how many of your friends are less than 7 years? And that's probably a more realistic.
That's a tough question, you know, because we're all in our full, you know, I'm 61, so, you know, 40, 50 years of friends. 60, Leaf Soline and Larry Soline. I've known those guys since, when Leafy was definitely born, but
right.
You know, we've been neighbors since day one, you know, so I mean, yeah, incredible. Jerry Curtis. I was hanging out with Jerry Curtis and Kelly Morris when we were 6 years old.
Right. It's incredible, man. You know, and the things that we would do, right?
In the jungle, hang out in the jungle, like you mentioned.
Kidding? Yes, man. Take your bike and ride down. Or let me tell you what, my kids weren't driving to a neighbor's house at 8 years old. I sure as hell ain't letting them go off all day long by themselves at 6 years old. Yeah. But we did.
We did. Hey, Willie, so it looks like the technical difficulties weren't overcome with our captain.
Yeah.
We might have to throw the towel in on that one.
I think we are, but you know what? Well, let's gonna do some. And Ralphie, you're of course more than welcome to hang out with us. You know, we love having you here at the bar with us.
Also,
but if you
gotta
jump off, feel free to jump. You know, you're good either way.
Yeah. If Willie and I are ever sick or we can't make the show, Ralphie is the one going to be stepping in for us.
Yes,
so
he's our backup. Right
time to get his training. Ralphie can handle this easily, man.
Look what Chris just posted on the screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, you are. Ralphie's good people. Ralphie always is flexible. Listen, Ralphie and I had a good gig a couple weeks ago, doing some safety training and stuff. So that's a good gig there. Threw a little extra cash in my pocket.
Long time. And I did mention 2 projects that Ralphie worked on, but he also worked on all the metros, all the metro tunneling and all that stuff. He also worked on those projects. So right on, Ralphie, man. Yeah. Impressive.
And not only that, but when you talk about the training that you give to the people, and then days afterwards they call and they say thank you. We did a good job. You know,
yes. Yeah, Ralphie forwarded me that letter. It was very, very nice. They were very complimentary, you know, and Ralphie does a very professional job, you know. And
he's not nice. He's not nice. He's got a reputation of being quite the mean guy.
Look, and you start bragging about him, he jumps off. As soon as you say something nice about Ralph, he bails. He's like, oh, forget that. He's very humble. No, Ralphie, he's got a real pro outfit there, and I appreciate him reaching out to me. You know, I have a training background, so you know, second nature for me. But yeah, it's really cool. You know, we'll get another one going, Ralph. I'm ready. You know, that's
very, very helpful. I couldn't do it myself, that's for sure. And
That was a big group.
Thankful, grateful that you helped me, and that was incredible, Will. So
Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. And listen, it's always nice to throw some money in my pocket, so you never complain there.
That part's good too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Chris, I saw that show. I actually went into those buildings myself because I was with a friend that her son was a graffiti artist. So I know what buildings you're talking about, and I saw that show. But yeah, it's amazing how Amador, such an important piece of real estate, it's run down like that. But
it really has. It seems like it's a lot of the zone has been done that way. Was it on purpose? Who knows? I have my opinions, my beliefs.
I have my opinions too, and we need to fix that. Yeah.
Either way, we'll work on and I won't even bring it up here because then Ricky will start yapping about it. But we are going to do something with the Canal Zone to bring something back there. So, and I'll leave it at that. I won't do anything else.
Kill me, man. They
worked
their whole lives to get the canal. Now I'm working to give it back.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly, man. They're like, what the hell's this guy doing here? Get him off the air, man. Cut this guy off. That's probably where that hissing was coming from.
Yeah, no doubt. First, exactly. Oh
he probably called somebody in Fidel or no, Raul, because Fidel's dead. Someone Raul or who knows, one of these people in these other places that knows how to get American stuff.
Well, that was funny though, how it interrupted. I wonder if me talking about the Chinese government and U.S. Panama. Oh my goodness!
It's the AI. The AI bot got you.
Well, I mean, listen, when you're as big as we are, then people are tuning in from around the world. We got people from Indonesia put in, right?
Wink, wink. Girls in Indonesia,
from Australia, from Romania, you name it. People are listening in. So.
We're spreading information.
Yeah, maybe somebody in Beijing is listening as well. As soon as they hear that shit, they're like, "Oh, zap it right now." Para esa vaina.
Bueno, muchachos.
So,
the trigger word.
Guys, we're really sorry about our Canal pilot. We do know that he was having technical difficulties. We don't know if Panama is having, internet issues or not, but we are really sorry about that.
That's what we call an audible, though, right?
Yeah.
We switch gears. It is football season, right? So we know how to call audibles. We get out there, the defense don't look right. Something ain't working. Let's make a run. So what we're going to do, guys, and we did a little bit of this last week. Won't go into as much history because I didn't have stuff fully prepped for it. We were going to do another segment, but we can improvise again. We're seasoned pros now. We've been doing this for months, right? So we're now definitely seasoned pros at this.
We're 35 shows now, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Gosh, I don't even know at this point what the count is. I know it's definitely a bit there, but one of the things that we've learned over the last probably month or so is we've gotten these analytics programs from there's a program called TubeBuddy that I've subscribed to that gives us a lot of really good analytics. It tells us when people are jumping on and whatnot. And one of the things that Andrew Eftimitis was supposed to join us, Kelly, but there's been some issues going on there, so we'll get him on again. But nonetheless, the analytics is telling us that a lot of people in Panama are starting to watch the show as well. And some of the feedback we're getting is that, like we've said here, and you guys in the audience have said, you really like the history that we're providing. And even in Panama, they didn't get a lot of that history. So they're really enjoying that piece of it as well. So we want to make this a little bit more Panama friendly, right? We're going to be working on some football shows for Little League football. I've got quite a group of Kiwani's former players on that we've been chatting with. I chatted up with them, quite a few of them this week. They're excited to tell their story. And honestly, I think I'm excited to learn about the way football went there. Even something as simple as, did you call your plays in Spanish or in English? Right? I mean, what was that like? Their
audibles were in Spanish. Their audibles were in Spanish.
It would be cool to learn all those things, how they got, all of that stuff. So I'm excited to get them on. Jim Kopsky and the Albrook Jets folks are going to be coming on. I want to try and get Coach Downing on, and Kelly, maybe you can help me get in touch with him and try and get some Cristobal Tigers on here as well. So that'll be really cool. But again, we want to get more of a Panama flavor. And so we're going to do a shortened segment of it here tonight. But we did this last week, and we actually got a pretty good return on it. A lot of people really enjoyed the lessons we were doing because there was some lessons on Panama, right? We learned about all the different provinces and stuff. Next week, we'll definitely go on to another province. Again, I didn't have it ready tonight. That's on me. We should have always have a backup plan in place. But nonetheless, let's do a little bit of Made in Panama, Historias del Istmo. Yes, and somebody asked me last week after I showed that. They asked, "Is that you at the on the TV set at the end there?" Yes, that is me wearing my little monkey suit there. I think it was one of my cousin's weddings or something. But nonetheless, it's it was a silly little picture, something to throw in there that was kind of cool. But let's go ahead and learn some things. As you can see on the screen here, and we lost Ralphie for a moment. That I've got to reconfigure the screen here, and there he is. All right, welcome back, Ralph.
Hey,
So.
as far as the Panama segment too, I don't know if you know about the big news that's happening in Panama about the bridge. I don't know if you heard it.
Do tell.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, so the Panama segment brings everything about Panama. The big news right now is the Bridge of Americas. What happened to all the H frames that were sent to Panama from Houston to repair the bridge? This government has found a lot of these big giant H beams and I beams scattered throughout the country. It's amazing. And
how?
Really, they stole them.
Amazing how they're finding them in random places, but they sent these to Panama to be able to replace the Bridge of America so it doesn't fall. And that's the big news that's happening right now in Panama.
That's happening now. Yeah, I should have mentioned that, but I try to leave that out because it is a positive show though. But yeah, they sent like 600 of these beams to repair our old bridge.
Yes,
they stole them, man.
God, and that's so dangerous, man. I mean, God Almighty.
Received them, and the last government pretty much said, "Hey, we got a shipment of these giant things. Do you need a bridge there? Do you need a bridge there? You need a little bit for your house. You need a little bit for this house." And
of course.
So now,
you got your house in Capita with all these steel beams on you. Where the hell's that from, man? You got a thatch roof and steel beams. Come on, man.
And they're supposed to go underneath the Bridge of Americas to support the concrete.
Okay, bye now, man.
I know.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, that's things that happen in our country. What's going on, Mike?
Okay, so we're gonna correct. Leaf has made 2 posts now on this comment. So for the record, Leaf, okay, the Thatcher Ferry Bridge was never officially the Thatcher Ferry Bridge. They called it that because the Thatcher Ferry was what ran underneath that. Okay, but when they built the bridge and when they opened it, immediately the government of Panama launched a complaint because that bridge does cross the international border between the United States and Panama. Okay, because
and the continental, not the continental divide, but it's where north and south.
It crosses right through the middle of the canal zone, but it connects traffic on both sides. So it was always the Bridge of the Americas. We gave it the name Thatcher Ferry Bridge, but they actually, and I'll find the date because I looked it up the other day. There's a date early on when this was built where even the military, the generals in Corey Heights, put out a communique saying the official name of this is the Bridge of the Americas. In fact, Panama would refuse to address any issues that named it the Thatcher Ferry Bridge. So technically, it was never the Thatcher Ferry Bridge, just so everybody knows. But nonetheless, it is what it is. It's the Bridge of the Americas, and that which is kind of cool. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It links all the Americas. It's still a U.S. thing, and nonetheless. But the picture you see on the screen here now is of what hill? We all know the name of this hill, right? That's Ancon Hill.
Oh, in front of us. Yeah, okay, for sure.
Okay, but this is looking at it from Panama. Looking in, you can see the Gorgas Hospital and the shrubs and everything. But this segment is actually about Ancon Hill. We're going to learn something really cool about Ancon Hill, where that name came from, okay, and how that all started.
I looked that up. I know.
Okay, so Ancon is an old Spanish name for a cove, okay? It basically what happened was, and we're going to go back to the old Panama where this all started from. So old Panama, as you can see the ruins here and everything, and I found a cool picture of what we see this, and we all know this as recognize this Panama Viejo, old Panama, right? The ruins and those very, very old, classic colonial buildings and whatnot. This is what that area looked like. This is a rendition of it from maps and whatever they had. The white tower you see in the middle, there's the one that we see back here all the time. That's this one, which is left of that, right? So remember what happened to this area, right? Henry Morgan came in and basically sacked the whole thing. Remember the Golden Altar? They painted it all black so that they wouldn't see that it was gold and they wouldn't steal it. But they basically sacked that entire place. They wrecked it. They burned it, which is why those ruins were the only thing left. So what did Panama do? And remember, at this time, you're talking the 1500s, 1600s. There was certainly no Panama government at the time. There was no such thing as Panama. This is still part of Spain. It was a colony. So what they did was they took that city, which you see in the picture here, and they moved it to this area here, which is what we call now Casco Viejo, which became the new capital of Panama, okay, or the new capital of that region for Spain. And if you recall last week when we were talking about Bocas del Toro and that whole Cody River War, the whole premise for that was that Costa Rica wanted that area of Bocas del Toro because, again, it is very easy to protect, okay? Going back to what we talked about Portobello, why Portobello it was very hard to sack that area because it was very easy to protect it, the way the natural environment around it was. Well, this was the same thing here, this Casco Viejo area here. And so they found this Ancon, right? This cove that they started building the old Panama City, okay? The new one, actually, because the old one was Panama Viejo. But this was where they moved the new one after the pirates came in and whatnot. And what happened was, like anywhere else, high ground is where you get observation, where you can see, where you can protect. And so as they built this area in this Ancon, they built a new city, they put their watch areas and they sent people up on the hill there to watch over, to be able to protect. And they had actually security provided from up there. And so they just gave it the nickname at that time because, there was nothing official. It was a colony. Everybody referred to it as Ancon Hill. In other words, the hill protecting the cove. And that's where that term Ancon Hill comes from. So if anybody asks you, basically what it means is the cove, and it's meant to protect the newer city of Panama. So there you go, guys. And now, of course, you can see it. Here's an aerial view, but at top of the hill, very strategic. So strategic, in fact, that when the canal was negotiated, when the canals on the borders were drawn up, if you remember, the entire Ancon Hill was in Canal Zone hands. That was part of the Canal Zone. It wasn't like half of that was Panamanian. Remember, the other side of that, from what we're used to seeing in Balboa, on the direct other side was Gorgas Hospital, those entrances, right? In fact, you can see it in this picture from the Panama angle. These buildings there, that's Gorgas Hospital on that side. Directly on the other side is Balboa, is Pier 18 and all that stuff. That was all in the middle of the Canal Zone. And the United States, the engineers, and all the people building the canal, that was their observation platform to sit there and plan the whole thing out. A lot of it was from Ancon Hill because you had such a great view of that entire Balboa area. We've seen a lot of the pictures of the Balboa Flats and what, became Albrook Air Force Base. And all those pictures are taken from Ancon Hill because it was such a vantage point for everything, which was why Panama, after getting sacked in the 1500s, decided to move the new city right at the base of that hill so you could observe from up there and you could see when there's an attack coming. Remember, in the 1500s, you see a boat, in the distance in the horizon, it's going to take an hour or two to arrive. It's not like you see it there and all of a sudden it's there. So it gave you plenty of notice where you can suddenly send people down, lock up, get your defenses going, whatever, because somebody's arriving. So anyway, that's where the name Ancon Hill comes from.
Willie, not to correct or anything or interrupt, but there's also a geographical, no, not geographical, the rock formation engineering definition to what an Ancon is. And it denotes a sharp and elongated ridge that prominently protrudes from its surroundings, often resembling an outstretched arm or elbow. So it's an appropriate name for that hill, not only for what you said, which is the same definition, but in geological. There you go. In geological terms, that's also a word called Ancon, which I just told you denotes a sharp and elongated ridge. So it's got the proper name for the two things that we both mentioned. So that hill is correctly named.
Right on. Well, thank you for adding that to it. And that's one of the things when it comes to a lot of these, like, for example, the province of Veraguas, there's various different ideas of where the name came from, but that's all part of the history. And that's what we provide here. And guys, if you want to get a lot more history of Panama, okay, there's a YouTube channel called Panama Vieja Escuela.
Oh, yeah.
Translated as Panama Old School. some amazing videos on there, some really cool stuff. There is some stuff there that's a little bit anti-American slanted, but you take it with a grain of salt. You be objective when you listen to something. But there's a lot of really good education there. I've picked up a lot of these things, for that Cote d'Ivoire last week that I talked about. I got it all out of those videos. It was really, really impressive stuff. So a really good educational opportunity there for you guys.
Yeah, another one of our historians is letting us know about because the delay. The name of the ferry service paid tribute to Maurice Thatcher, like you said, Willie.
Yes, former governor of the Canal Zone, and that made it possible. And then he adds to it here a second piece that it was going to be transferred to the bridge, but it not had the acceptance of the citizens or the government of Panama. And again, because it was unifying the Americas, right? Panama has always been recognized as, for whatever reason, because of location, it is the bridge between the northern and southern hemispheres. Okay, it has always been considered that way. Again, technically, parts of Colombia are already in the northern hemisphere because the hemispheres are split by the equator. But in general, it's accepted that South America begins in Colombia and the northern hemisphere, Central America, North America, begins in Panama. So it makes sense to call it that. I get where they were coming from. And again, this was something that wasn't strictly, for the United States. This was a bridge that the highway started in Panama. And when you got off the bridge, once you passed the traffic light to go to Howard, it wasn't but about another 2 miles, and you could see the road changed, and you could tell you're on a Panamanian road now. You're now actually in Panama. Everything about it changed for sure. So
yeah, there was that one little stop there where the police were. Remember, you had to slow down, hide your beers, put on your T-shirt.
Yes.
And then wait for them to give you the pass.
Yep, for sure.
Right.
But that was interesting. It's good information to have. And again, this is what's cool about this show is that, a lot of times we do have the opportunity to have somebody correct the record or show us, well, wait a minute, actually, this is the way that went, because, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true all the time. We try our best. We're not a crack research group, but, we try to put up what we can when we come across it. And, sometimes we find out that things are maybe slightly different. I know, for example, the Fort Amador yesterday, there's a bit of a little confusion there. I know Dave and I were talking about it the other night, and he mentioned that it actually, parts of it were Fort Grant, parts of it were Fort Amador. But it turns out that I think it was just an actual change of a name. I'll look it up again, and we'll definitely have that as a question for Dave when he comes up here in a couple of weeks. October 4th is around the corner, so he'll definitely talk about that. But the other one I wanted to touch on real quick, another interesting story. If you guys recall, if you were living in the zone in the 80s, okay, late 70s, early 80s, when, Amador, that base was one of the first bases to switch sides. Okay, that became a Panamanian base right away. In fact, those barracks right along the water there, those were Panamanian barracks right away. And Ralph, do you remember the name that was on the barracks there, the sign? It had somebody's name.
There were several of them, but each one.
There was one famous name. This guy was a famous general in the Panamanian military history.
Wasn't it Victoriano Lorenzo? Right.
Victoriano Lorenzo. So I started looking him up, and briefly, because I don't want to go into a long one. We can get into a long one with him, although he actually had a very short life, considering how important he was to the cause. But basically, what I've learned, and again, I'll put it, in a consolidated way here. Victoriano Lorenzo was a Panamanian leader and guerrilla fighter. In fact, from another video I saw, he is considered the first guerrilla warrior in the Americas, in Latin America. He's the first Latin American. When Che Guevara gets all this credit for this, that, and the other.
Yeah. This guy, right.
This guy was way
the OG.
before these guys. Yeah, he is the OG.
Show on him, Willie.
Yes. We should, for sure.
San Miguelito.
Correct. And so now he was involved in that 1,000 Days War. Okay.
Yes.
Now remember, everything that we talk about with Victoriano Lorenzo was during Colombia's running of Panama. Okay,
they hung him in 1903
of his last few days.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what's interesting. So, 1,000 Days War between 1899 and 1902. He fought in that conflict between the liberals and conservatives in Colombia, of which Panama was then a part of. Okay, he fought for the rights of indigenous and rural communities. In fact, that was one of his first times he got notoriety, was for seeing some taxing issues that were fraudulent with some local people in the interior, and he stood up for him, and that's when he finally that fight for the cause, kind of thing came to be. That's where it all kicked off for him. So he did that. He played a significant role in those battles and everything. He was considered, in that same group with your great grandfather, with all of these guys. He was part of these guys. Okay?
He's part of that same militia. Yeah. It's Belisario Porras.
Correct.
Now,
however, despite playing a significant role in the war, okay, when the war ended, he was executed.
Oh man.
Okay, he was captured. He had a trial that lasted about an hour. They brought him out to a courtyard and sat him down, and they shot him.
Yep, 1903, right before the treaties went down, like months.
Literally months before the treaty. Okay, months before Panama would have been independent, and he would have been part of that ruling government. And instead, he was executed. Listen, they had so much contempt for him that when they wanted to bury him and give him, a state funeral and a procession, they wouldn't even let him be in a coffin. They threw his body in the back of a cart, a ox-driven cart, and they rode him past to the interior to his family and said, here's the body. I mean, it was just complete disregard, and basically they despised the guy for obvious reasons. He was an enemy of theirs. But again, when you read that and you think, oh man, this guy was a folk hero in Panama, and all these things happened, but Panama wasn't around then. Literally 2 months later, Panama becomes a country, and now unfortunately this guy's gone. So they did go back. The legislature did pass some acts to basically resurrect his name, clean the name up, and give him the proper burial and honors that he deserved, because he was a founding father of Panama. He just timing wasn't right. So at 36 years old, the guy was dead. He was gone. Yeah. But he left quite the legacy even then. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the Bayano of the 1500s.
Correct.
We'll do a piece on him.
Yeah, no, we absolutely should. With a butcher in the comment, we for sure, Leaf, absolutely. We don't digress into the politics here and stuff. But yes, he was. But when you talk about Latin American guerrillas and these freedom fighters, whether their political aims were true or not, Che Guevara tends to get a lot of credit for being one of those people. And outside of Panama, most people have no idea who Victoriano Lorenzo is, So here's an opportunity if you have to chat with somebody and be able to talk about what he did there. Let's see what Mr. Posada says here. When the Americans came, they used the name Port of Ancon for what later became the Pacific. Okay, there you go. Right on. So we're going to have Mr. Posada on, because he is quite the historian. He's got a lot of great knowledge, and we definitely will have him on.
And his English is perfect. He was worried about his English, but I had lunch with him, and I told him, no, you're good. Your English is good. Hey,
well, Billy, and we do a lot of Spanglish here anyway, so that's we got that covered here. People will understand totally if you switch gears and throw a word in Spanish in the middle of it. It'll just go right past.
And Mr. Posada, he can be a Zonian, because his love for the zone, the history, the architecture, how he reports it, that is what a Zonian is. Yes. I think he might just get baptized. But Willie, the last thing on Ancon, I don't know why we must have the same mind, but I did a lot of research on Ancon. I have no idea why.
Great minds.
Yeah, great minds. So it comes from the Spanish word Ancona.
Correct, which was a cove.
Cove. Yeah, no. You're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah.
That was fascinating. And you know what? That's one of those that I didn't climb Ancon Hill when I lived down there all those years.
I did.
Never did it.
Last time I was there, I went up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it next time I go down. I definitely want to do that one, because it would be really cool, even though the view would be different. But looking back at it now, like a lot of things,
it's not easy. You gotta put in an effort.
Hike.
Yeah,
that's a Johnny McGee hike.
Yeah. No, it'll work your buns for sure.
Yeah. No, that's one of those things. Though I wish I had the wherewithal that I have now to learn about the canal zone and really immerse myself in it, learn it, and love it the way I do now. But we didn't care about it back then. We were just growing up as a community.
Is so rich.
But had I known those things, I would have done all of those things. I would have gone up on Ancon Hill and seen it. I would have done this. I would have done that. And it's
that's why we do this show the way we do, Willie, because we love this research and this learning so much. Yeah, right on.
Well, there you go. He's getting confirmed. So we will definitely get you on here and talk about history, because you do have a lot of knowledge on the history here, and I'd love to hear that. I'm sure you can do it in Spanish. Right. Yeah, we are. You're right, Rich. And listen, guys. Starting probably around January, I want to start transitioning some of our content. We we started this with Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club, and that certainly is our anchor show right now. It's our only show right now. But I want to use the SCN Canal Zone network and use it as a network. We have the SCNCanalZone.com website. We have the Facebook page. We have we own the YouTube channel. So I want to start adding different components. We're going to repurpose a lot of the history videos with Dave Dahlstrom. In fact, October 4th, you'll see a different style of presentation. Dave and I spent a lot of time the other night talking, and we're going to retool that one as well, make it a little bit more educational, kind of take the bar theme out of it. As much as we love the bar theme here, I want these shows, right? Which is great. Don't get me wrong; it's a lot of fun. We are at the Balboa Yacht Club,
yeah.
But I want somebody when they come on here in 10 years and say, "Hey, I want to learn some history of the canal zone. Let me go to this library here." I want them to pull up something that's educational and not mixed in with a bunch of shots and cheers and everything else. So Our Friday night at the Balboa Yacht Club is definitely going to be our anchor show. We always want to do that, but we are going to have some other content. So to your point, Rich, I am going to have some Spanish content added to that network as well to start involving more of the Panama crowd and help us grow the channel. So so stay tuned. I'm glad you mentioned that because that is something we definitely are working on. And who knows, maybe that Kiwani's appearance will help bring some of that in here. So, but listen, guys, hey, you know what? We didn't really skip a beat, and no knock on Andrew because I was really looking forward to that. I was looking forward to this new intro, which I'm going to play anyway, just for the sake of playing it because I kind of worked on it a bit here. Let me cue it up because I thought I had it queued up, but
or maybe he got called in too to work. That could be a possibility.
It's certainly possible. It absolutely is possible, but
because
he does.
They did bump up the transit level to their max 36 tips.
As a CPC of the canal, you get called for anything.
No, for sure. Absolutely. No, we definitely recognize that. And that may be in fact the case, but nonetheless, we were gonna have a little fun with him. We created a new little intro video for him. So let's go ahead and play that intro video. And there won't be Andrew this time, but you'll know what to look for next.
North 13, Bravo, coming down and looking for the traffic.
Good afternoon, North.
Key 13 Bravo, the LNG. Keep her coming, Cap. We were waiting for you.
So there you go. That's our intro for Andrew. We'll have it on for next time. What we were going to do, and you know what? It's funny because timing always works out in the end, right? One of the things that we decided we're going to try and do with his Pan Canal Report show is we're going to talk about, of course, what's going on in the canal and everything, but also we were going to do a transit. Today we were going to do a Miraflores transit, right? And talk about it. When Andrew's on the ship, they're prepping and maneuvering and getting things ready, way far away from that locks, right? If you know anything about boats, they don't stop on a dime. They don't turn on a dime. So you got to anticipate a lot of things. So he was going to go through it and kind of narrate to us, okay, as I get to this point, this is what we're looking for. This is where we slow down, whatever. But the other component we were going to add is have somebody working the locks down in Miraflores and say, okay, as that ship approached, this is what we would do. We'd get ourselves in position here to do this, that, and the other, and make it a really cool conversation so we really could learn what it was like to transit Miraflores. And then his following episode, transit Pedro Miguel and Gatun, and then go to the new locks, Agua Claras and Cocally and so forth. So we were hoping to do that tonight, but we didn't have a Miraflores locks master on anyway. So maybe somebody anticipated that and said, you know what, let's snitch this one down for now, and we'll get it when we have it ready to go. Because I think that's going to be really exciting to learn how that entire operation to get a ship into those locks worked from up on the ship and down on the ground. So anyhow, stay tuned. That will come around on the next get around on this. But nonetheless, we have reached our 2 hours almost perfectly in time here. So, Ralphie, you got 20 seconds. Tell us what Safety Solutions got going on, man.
Well, we got quite a few things happening. I got a few classes that I'm going to be coming up, hopefully in November, that I'm trying to get intact. As Mr. Posada was saying, he knows me from Cayuco Race as the Cayuco Race Master. And he saw the events that we were having down there too in the last 10 years. But now in the last 3 years, it's starting trying to get back intact. But as far as us down there, Safety Solutions and Green Panama, we're working down there to try to get our machine in Panama to convert waste to energy and help that country out. And not only that country, but other countries. So stay tuned. I will have a lot more information once we get, all our feet on the ground. We've been working on this for a few years, but it's something that's not only going to help Panama, but also the other countries in the region. And hopefully in the United States, they catch on to us and start doing it here too.
It's been exciting. You guys have been working that for
donation to the Balboa Yacht Club will be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
California, where Rick lives, but the rest of the states.
Yeah. No, for sure. And listen, that's exciting stuff. I know you guys have been working really hard for several years on that. So, I'm excited for that to come to fruition. And definitely when you're ready to launch it, come on here and you can definitely promote it on here and tell everybody what you and your group of Zonias got going on, because it's exciting stuff. And dude, good luck to you guys on that. So anyway, listen, Ralph, appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you hanging out with us this Friday night. We didn't have our captain on, but you know what? We had the Cayuco captain, man, and a titan of
my
the
little brother,
industry.
man. My little brother. I love you, Ralphie, man. I really do.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Anytime,
Thank you,
Ralph. So anyhow, Ralph, have yourself a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you later. Take care, brother. All right.
Man, really, man. Great show again, coño, mano.
It was good,
a good show.
We had a lot of good stuff. It didn't, we didn't have it according to plan, but then again, sometimes you and I seem to do a little better when we just kind of wing it,
It's so funny.
At least
all
we like to do that.
All the prep that we do, and then man, something else happens. But hey, here we are.
We are nonetheless.
We
make do. We
do,
keep
man.
people happy, and again, to me, what really, really fills my heart with joy is having all of our friends comment and say hello and join in the conversation and contribute to the conversation, which really makes it, very, very engaging. And that, like I said, is really for me the favorite part of this show. So looking forward to next week's show. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. We will get this one rescheduled here, but Ricky, have an awesome weekend. Don't forget, we got to jump on to get our new streaming platform ready to go. But nonetheless, again, love having you guys on. Ricky, have an awesome weekend. Take us out of here, man.
Hey, guys, thank you for joining us. I can't tell you how much we love to do this for you guys. Over close to 200 comments. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, guys. We want to always say goodnight by saying we love you very great.